teaching men how to behave.
I'm sure you must have come across a lot of terms like ICC, external member, chairperson, posh, etc. Well, if you are confused about these terms, don't worry. This is going to be a simple explainer. But first up, let's understand what exactly is sexual harassment at workplace. Sexual harassment at the workplace can be any form of harassment, verbal, physical, or emotional of a sexual nature. It could play out in many ways. It could be a quid pro quo demand where the man asks for a sexual favor in return for things like promotion or a foreign assignment. At other times, denial of sexual favors can lead to a hostile work environment. Man can ask the people at your office to turn against you or even deny you or even ensure that you do not get any good assignments. A demand or request for sexual favors, making unsolicited sexual remarks, showing someone pornography or any sexually suggestive photographs without their consent, it's all sexual harassment. So what can a woman do if she has been sexually harassed at her workplace? Well, there are criminal remedies under the Indian Penal Code, and then there are also civil remedies under the Sexual Harassment of Women at the Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. Criminal remedies include punishment for molestation, voyeurism, stalking, attempted rape and rape. But if the woman does not necessarily want to put her harasser in jail but still wants to take action against him, then there are civil remedies available. But for that, we must thank this woman, Banwari Devi. In 1992, Banwari Devi, a Dalit woman who was employed by the Rajasthan government to prevent child marriages in her village, was gang raped by a group of upper caste men. These men belonged to the families of those children whose wedding she had stopped. Several women activists and lawyers argued that Banwari was attacked solely because of her work. In 1997, the Vishaka guidelines were ordered by the Supreme Court. And these guidelines provided the framework for the definition of sexual harassment at workplace and the guidelines to deal with it. And in 2013, the Indian government ordered the Sexual Harassment of Women at the Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act and implemented these guidelines. First, it is the responsibility of the employer to ensure safety of women at the workplace. Second, every organization must have a policy for zero tolerance for sexual harassment and make sure this policy is communicated to all employees. Third, the employer must conduct trainings to sensitize all employees about sexual harassment. Fourth, and most importantly, organizations that have 10 or more employees must have an internal complaints committee that deals with the complaints of sexual harassment at workplace. An ICC must be headed by a senior woman in the organization. At least 50% of the ICC members must be women. The ICC must also have an external member. She must have worked in the field of women's rights and empowerment for a good number of years. So let's say your organization has an ICC. What can it do? Well, it has to accept complaints of sexual harassment. It must conduct an inquiry into the matter and come to a conclusion, like a civil court. And if found guilty, it must give recommendations for what action must be taken against the accused. Should he be suspended? Should he give an apology? Should he be fired? Remember, the law protects women from harassers they come into contact with during the course of their work, even if they are not employees. Let me give you an example. I am a journalist. If I have been harassed by, let's say, a person I'm interviewing, then my organization has the responsibility to help me in that case. They have to help me file a complaint with the police if I want to, help me pay my legal fees, etc. Because remember, the onus of my safety is on my employer. If the employer fails to constitute an ICC or take relevant action, he or she will be punished with a fine which may extend up to Rs 50,000. While women employees can choose to take a legal recourse, the ICC is a civil remedy that every employer must initiate. And also, Dear employers, when a woman approaches you with a sexual harassment complaint, treat it as a misconduct and initiate action. Provide all necessary assistance and facilities in the smooth conduct of the ICC inquiry. Let's institutionalize a non-toxic work culture. Not misogyny,